Hello everyone, I'm Keith Katkin, President and CEO of AVANIR Pharmaceuticals. AVANIR is a specialty biopharmaceutical company focused on central nervous system disorders. Our lead product candidate, NUEDEXTA, was recently approved by the FDA as the first and only treatment for a condition called pseudobulbar affect. And right now we're well into the launch and commercialization of NUEDEXTA, and also focused on the continued development of NUEDEXTA for other indications. Recently announced that we filed an IND with the FDA for the treatment of NUEDEXTA for pain secondary to multiple sclerosis, and also look forward to developing NUEDEXTA for emotional ability secondary to Alzheimer's disease.
We talk a lot these days about alternative funding routes, and I know that AVANIR took the route of an at-the-market offering, and I wondered if you could explain what that is and why AVANIR chose that route.
Sure.
And was it successful?
Sure. Over AVANIR's life cycle, we've actually utilized a number of different mechanisms for financing. We've done standard marketed deals, equity deals. We've also have used an at-the-market facility. And we have found, when we used it, which was a number of years ago, that it was quite effective for us. We had a high volume share turnover, and we were able to tap into that high volume liquidity and use that in order to raise additional capital through the at-the-market facility.
Here's a question about drug pricing. I know that some members of Congress sent requests for you to justify pricing for your drug. How much is it? Can you tell us how much is it per patient? How did you respond to Congress? And what does this say about biotech drug pricing in general when Congress is jumping in?
Sure. The wholesale acquisition price for NUEDEXTA is $489 per month, so approximately $5,800 per year. And when you put that in context of many of the other therapies that are associated with the neurologic conditions that NUEDEXTA is indicated for, we think that the cost is actually quite reasonable. When you consider multiple sclerosis treatments now run in the order of $30,000 to $45,000 per year, and also other types of agents which treat comorbidities can run in the $10,000 to $15,000 price range. We think for the benefit that NUEDEXTA provides as the first and only FDA-approved therapy for the treatment of PBA, it's actually quite fairly priced.
So, like a number of other biotech drugs, the launch of AVANIR's NUEDEXTA has fallen short of analysts' expectations, but there's still room to believe that it might reach peak sales, and I wondered if you could talk about that a little bit and what your expectations are.
Yeah, certainly we have very high expectations for NUEDEXTA, and I think people expected a little bit faster of a launch. Now we've seen most of the analysts really bring their revenue forecasts in line to something that's quite reasonable and really indicative of a product which is launching as a first and only therapy into a new market. And as we're launching into a new market, it takes time to change physician behavior. It takes time to have offices start to integrate PBA and the screening tools that you use for PBA in order to identify these patients. And we know that when doctors screen for PBA, they're surprised at the number of patients they find that have PBA, and also that when they use NUEDEXTA, we hear tremendous patient success stories. So we think as doctors get experience, as doctors start to screen for PBA, we'll absolutely start to see the revenues for NUEDEXTA continue to increase. And we're quite pleased with where we're at right now, and feel that we're just now have completed our 4th full month post-launch, and we're looking forward for continued success in the future.
One last question for you. We've talked a lot about NUEDEXTA. What else is in the pipe? What's coming from AVANIR next?
Yeah, the most exciting, or one of the more exciting components of AVANIR is that NUEDEXTA in and of itself is a pipeline and a pill. As I mentioned, when we think about NUEDEXTA and we look at the mechanism of action as a sigma-1 antagonist and an NMDA receptor antagonist and a sigma-1 agonist, that there's really a large potential for development for NUEDEXTA. So our next development program is going to be in pain secondary to multiple sclerosis. We plan on enrolling our first patient in that study by the end of this year, and then next year we're going to turn to emotional ability secondary to Alzheimer's disease, another area where there's a tremendous unmet medical need.